Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Red Shadow's Favorite Games. I'm the Red Shadow, and today I'm going to be talking about a game that I stunned myself with about a half an hour ago when I looked at my little cheat list of games I've written down over the last few months that I wanted to include in this series. And I was like, where is this game? Where is it? I think I want to do that game today. And it wasn't on my list. It's like, how in the world? This is definitely a top 5 favorite PS2 game for me, up there with the likes of Shadow of the Colossus. Obviously not as awesome to me as Shadow of the Colossus, but it's still an awesome PS2 game. And anyway, I guess without further ado, it's Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. And this LucasArts thing here is cool, but this is what's really important to me. Pandemic. This little game developer is a personal favorite of mine, and quite a few of their games rank amongst some of my favorites. Definitely one that I probably won't be including in this list, not because I don't love them, but just because it's kind of a different kind of love. But that's like the Star Wars Battlefront games. They're really, really good games, and I have those. Glad to see that the series is continuing on, even though it's in the next/current gen, so I'll never get to play it, but those were great games. And the list goes on and on when it comes to Pandemic. They had so many really good games. I really enjoyed the Saboteur. And I'm going to sit here and probably totally blank on a bunch of the other games of theirs that I love, but Mercenaries, Saboteur, Battlefront games, and I'll think of some more. Maybe I'll put those in the description if I come up with a few more examples later. But, as usual, this is the focus here. Here's my Prima official strategy guide for Mercenaries, Playground of Destruction. Now, before I get into talking about this one, I want to make mention of the sequel. Mercenaries World in Flames. I have the 360 version, the PS2 version. Knowing that Mercenaries Playground of Destruction is on my list, obviously you know that it's a favorite game of mine. So when a sequel was coming out, I was very, very excited and was just ready for more awesome Mercenaries action. And this came out 2008. I didn't get my 360 till 2010. I didn't pick up this one right away, mainly because some of the initial reviews and like magazine screenshots and whatnot of this weren't doing it for me, despite the hellaciously catchy theme song for the commercials for this. I call it the I don't know what I was thinking. I call it the Oh No You Didn't, which is what I referred to as the name of it. I think I called it like the Hell No Singers or something like that. Well, I'm completely unsure about that, but that song in the video, Oh No You Didn't, the commercials for the sequel, like, it was so catchy. I had to go and download it. I think that was maybe one of the first songs I ever went to the internet to try to track it down to see if I could download a free version of it to put on my MP3 player, and it's still on my computer and on my MP3 player. But I also remember posting on like some sort of a forum. It may have been an official Pandemic or EA or some website that had to do with this game had a forum, and I was on there talking about it. But anyway, the game itself, once I finally got a 360 in 2010, like, this was amongst the first games that I snatched for it. And when I went to play it, in a new console, and I was expecting it to be like everything the first game was and more, it failed to meet even the basic expectations I would have had for it. Not a recommended game as far as playing. You want to put it in your collection, sure, it's probably cheap, but it's a big-time letdown after how awesome this one was. So anyway, I'm going to read the back of the box here. Anything goes in this playground of destruction. You are a lethal mercenary. Your mission is to topple a sinister military regime by any means necessary. If it drives or flies, you can hijack it. If it shoots or explodes, you can use it as a weapon. You are free to go anywhere, destroy anything, and blow the crap out of everything. In this playground of destruction, there are no limits, no barriers, and no mercy. Now, what initially caught my attention on this game was a few magazines that I was into at the time, like PSM and Game Informer, and probably a few others, that were talking about how diverse you could take on missions and levels in this game. Like, you could go, balls to the wall, just blow everything up, take no prisoners, or you could be sneaky and stealthy. You could be sneaky and stealthy in terms of just completely avoiding everything, or you could be sneaky and stealthy and go up and get the close quarter kills. You could just literally do anything. And when I played it, I thought that was all very apt. But I also, as I'm sure a lot of other people did, I called it Grand Theft Auto North Korea, or Korea in general, since it takes place in basically North and South Korea. But because that's the way it is. It's open world. You pretty much have the same kind of camera angling as a Grand Theft Auto game. You can get in and out of vehicles in a similar method. And there's missions and things that you can pick up and do at any time. There's a lot of side quest type stuff. There's a lot of find it, like, picking up things in the middle of nowhere that contribute to some overall achievement. And then the meat and potatoes of the game would be the deck of cards, similar to something I believe that was first done after 9/11, in which the U.S. government or the Allied government, like the Allied nations, NATO, shows how much I know about that kind of stuff when it comes to politics and military things. But in the months and years after 9/11, when they were pursuing the terrorists, the Al-Qaeda, operatives or whatever, like I said, I don't know. But I remember news blurbs where they were talking about a deck of cards, having like a suit of cards, like the hearts, the diamonds, and attaching a name and a face to each one of those cards as to indicate the importance of taking out certain targets. So obviously the face cards were going to be more important individuals to eliminate. And anyway, they adapted that into this game, and all of the North Korean agents, terrorists, I guess whatever you want to refer to them as, are denoted by a card in the four suits of the deck. So there's 52 cards that you have to pursue in this game. So as you're doing these other missions, sometimes you have to do a mission before a certain group will give you information on the whereabouts of a card. Then once you get that information, you get the intel, you go seek them out, then you are also allowed to, you're a mercenary, so you're going to collect a bounty essentially for each one of these individuals. And you do so by either determining whether or not you're going to kill them and photograph their body, showing that you took care of the job and get a reduced amount of money, or if you're going to capture them alive and call in a helicopter to come pick them up, which you get the fuller payout. Although sometimes I'm pretty sure I quite remember there were a few missions where you went after the particular gentleman of the deck of cards, and you had to either subdue them only, no kill, or kill them only, no subdue and capture. And if you managed to do the opposite, then you got burned and you had to redo the... Did you have to yeah, well, on those I think you would have to redo them. It's kind of a funny thing. I didn't think it would bother me in this way, but there are quite a few times when I try to make sure that I captured them every time that was the option, and if I managed to kill them, I would be upset, and even though I wouldn't like restart, sometimes I think I probably did, but most of the time I just wanted to keep moving through the game. It's one of those games where you want to do everything that there is, and you don't want to dwell on stuff for too long. I would just have that nagging sensation at the back of my head. Like every time I would look at the deck of cards, I would see that one that I snuffed out instead of capturing, and it would just bother me. Every time I go back to replay this game, I try to do an all capture, for the ones that you can. And I suppose it's possible that there are some that are capture only, don't kill, and that there's no levels, there's no particular people that you have to kill only. I don't know. I don't remember. It's been too long. There's a lot of these games on this list. It's been way too long since I've last played them. But Mercenaries Playground of Destruction is just a great game. I have a whole lot of fun with it. I would say I've probably completed it 4 or 5 times since I first got it. This was like a day one purchase. This is 2005, so this is a 9-year-old game. There was talk, from what I have researched in the past, of there was going to be a 3rd game, but it just didn't happen. Pandemic Studios unfortunately folded up and are no longer making games. But another Mercenaries game would be awesome, although by this point in time it would be on a PS4 or Xbox One, and so it'd be another game I couldn't play. But I will always have this game. And one of these days I'm going to actually complete this one. I haven't beat this one. It's so far away in feeling from this one. This just outclasses the sequel, as they most often do. But I owe it to myself, I think, to maybe do a playthrough of this one where I actually complete it, just to see what it's like. These characters are really, really great. I don't remember their names right off the bat. I think the gentleman in the middle there is Matthias. I can't remember her name. I can't remember his name, and that's really sad because I always play as him. I like his particular perks better than the other two. But anyway, I just wanted to give a shout out to Mercenaries Playground of Destruction and to Pandemic Studios, to everybody who worked on this particular game and your whole library of games. There were very few of the games that Pandemic put out that didn't live up to the hype. Well, there wasn't really hype until they started putting out some good games, but all the ones that I've played, with the exception of the sequel, of course, I really had a good time with. So, check it out. Mercenaries Playground of Destruction. Think of it like Grand Theft Auto in the military world, and let me know what you think if somebody out there actually plays this or has played it. This is one of those games where I feel like this would have been a great multiplayer game. They could have had some sort of a multiplayer for it, and it would have been a whole lot of fun. So anyway, thanks a lot for watching. I'll probably have a new video up shortly after this one of another game, trying to make up for these days that I keep missing. So thanks a lot for watching.